Okay. So welcome to all. So to the Bhagavatam class. We were discussing in the last couple of weeks from chapter 9, wherein after having the beautiful darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Lord Brahma offered his heartfelt prayers, praying to the Lord for empowerment so that he could render his service as he does every day. So finally said that please give me the knowledge, give me the empowerment so that I will render service, and also kindly protect me as I am engaged in your service. There is a chance that I may fall victim to pride. Then Lord Vishnu speaks to him elaborately on the importance of performing tapasya and continuing service of creating planetary systems and all the variety of living entities who will continue to render service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead. So actually at the end of the last chapter, Lord Vishnu actually mentions one important point to Lord Brahma. So that was Sarva Veda Mayenedam Atma Natmana Yonina Atma Natmatma Yonina Praja Srujo Yata Purvam Yascha Mai Anuserate. My dear Brahma, kindly create the living entities Praja Sruja Yata Purvam as you have created the previous days. So now the 51st year, first month, first day is going on. As you have created previously during many other days, similarly you create now also. So what kind of people Lord Vishnu suggesting Brahma to create? Yascha mai anuserate. Those people who are obedient to me. Those people who want to follow the rules and regulations that are set by me in this material world. Anuserate. Those who are obedient to me. Because Jiva had natural inclination to enjoy separate from the Supreme Lord. So here Lord is providing a facility. Lord does not want Jiva to deviate from bona fide proper path. Though he want to enjoy, but Lord is providing a organized mechanism or a protected procedure. If we follow that protected procedure, we can fulfill our desires and at the same time we can return back to the spiritual world. So that was the instruction which Lord Vishnu gives to Lord Brahma. Anuserate, create such kind of living entities who will enjoy in a dharmic way and then they will come back to my spiritual abode. They don't remain here in this material world. So, and Sarva Veda Maye Nedam, because you are the personality made up of all the Vedas. Your form is composed of all the Vedas. So you can do this task. And you also appear directly from me. Because you have been born from me directly, you have that energy, you have that strength to do this service. So may you please continue to do this service. Then Maitreya takes on the conversation. Tasma evam jagasrishte pradana purusheshwara vyajyedam svena rupena kanja nabas tirodade. Wherein Maitreya is telling that Tasma enam jagasrishte, for the purpose of creating this material world, Pradana Purusheshwara, the Lord of Pradana and other Purushas, Vyajyedam Svena Rupedena Kanjanabas Tirodade. Lord Vishnu who appeared to Brahma, who is the Lord of Pradana, that is Pradana means Maya Devi, and with the Lord of Purusha avatars, having empowered Brahma, having given Brahma his wonderful darshan of his beautiful form, and having given him meaningful instructions, Kunjanabas Tirodate, the lotus-eyed Lord disappeared from the vision of Brahma. So that is being mentioned, that is where we stopped in the last class. So today we'll start with the 10th chapter and continue on. So what did Brahma do afterwards, after the Lord disappeared? So this is being described in the 10th chapter. So for your small information, if you remember, otherwise I'll remind, at the end of the second canto, in the 9th chapter, in order to answer all the questions that have been asked by Parikshit Maharaj in the 8th chapter, in the 9th chapter, Sukadeva Goswami mentioned that in order to answer all your questions, I need to speak to you Srimad Bhagavatam. That Bhagavatam was originally spoken by Lord Narayana to Brahma at the very beginning, during the very first day of the first year of the first month of Lord Brahma's manifestation in the material world. He spoke the entire Bhagavatam in 4 verses, Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And that Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma spoke to Narada Muni, Narada Muni spoke to Vyasdev, Vyasdev compiled it and then spoke to me, and then I will speak to you, the same Bhagavatam. But that Bhagavatam contains 10 topics, 10 Lakshanas. The Srimad Bhagavatam has 10 Lakshanas. Atra Sarga, Visargastha, Chanam, Poshana, Motaya, etc. Manvantaresha, Anukato, Nirodha, Mukti, Rashraya. Like that, 10 topics are being discussed in the Bhagavatam elaborately. So from there on, having mentioned that in the third canto from chapter 5 all the way up till now, in one sense, Srila Sukadeva Goswami and Maitreya Muni have described the first topic known as Sarga elaborately. And now Maitreya is going to give a brief summary of Sarga in the 10th chapter in few verses, and then he is going to start Visarga. So some details about secondary creation by Brahma are mentioned in the 10th chapter. Then he will continue in the 12th chapter. Then he will elaborate further in the 20th chapter. And further continues in the 4th canto and all the way up to the 15th chapter, the 5th canto. That is where the Visarga second topic is being described. So, and the rest of the canto 3, except chapter 10 of the part, chapter 12, chapter 20, remaining third canto elaborates on the principal topics of the primary creation or Sarga. So some categorization, which part of the Bhagavatam talking about these 10 principal topics. In that way, I'm just trying to give an idea. So half of the 10th chapter, 12th chapter, and 20th chapter, these 2.5 chapters speak about the second topic known as Visarga, the secondary creation by Lord Brahma, that is being presented here in these chapters. And then that is elaborated in the 4th canto and half of the 5th canto. Then the remaining half of the 5th canto talks about Sthanam, and 6th canto talks about Poshana, 7th canto talks about Uti, 8th canto talks about Manvantara, 9th canto talks about Ishanukata, 11th canto talks about Mukti, 12th canto talks about Nirodha, and 10th canto talks about Ashraya. Like that, the remaining cantos are pretty clear. They are kind of elaborating on one topic. This Sarga and Visarga only just we have to see, which is mixed up in third canto. So now let us see. So after narrating what all happened between Brahma and Narayana, the conversation that took place between Brahma and Narayana, that Lord Brahma offered prayers and asked for empowerment, Lord Narayana empowered him and then disappeared. Then what happened? With eagerness to understand, Vidura asks a question here. Vidura uvacha antarhite bhagavati Brahma lokapitamaha praja sasarja katida daihika rimana kairu vibhu. So here Vidura is asking that Antarhite Bhagavati Brahma Loka Pitamaha. Lord Brahma is the grandfather of the entire material universe. He is Loka Pitamaha. He is the grandfather of the entire material world, the material planetary systems. So then, having disappeared, Antarhite Bhagavati, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having thus empowered Brahma, having empowered him with suitable knowledge and suitable instructions, disappeared. Then Praja Sasarja Katida. How did Lord Brahma created the living entities? Praja refers to the living entities. Dahikair Manasair Vibhu. Oh, my dear Lord, Vidura is referring to Maitreya as Vibhu. Oh, my dear Lord, how did Brahma create from his body Daihikir through his body, Manasir through his mind. All the living entities that are there in the entire material universe. Can you please describe the process of creation by Brahma through his mind and through his body after the disappearance of Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? So that is being mentioned here. Then Vidura kind of expresses his eagerness to understand in order to inspire Maitreya Rishi. Echa me Bhagavan Prishtas, Echa me Bhagavan Prishtas, Tvai Artha Bahuvittama, Tan Tan Vadaswanupurvena, Chindina Sarva Samshayan. He says that Echame Bhagavan Prishta, Bhagavan, my dear Lord, my dear Guru, endowed with complete knowledge. Tvai Artha Bahu Vittama, who is endowed with complete knowledge. Tvai Artha Bahu Vittama. Bahu Vittama, with means knowledge. Vittara means the person who is more knowledgeable. Vittama means most knowledgeable. Bahuvittama, so you are the personality who is completely intelligent. So can you kindly present the answers to all my questions that I have asked in the 7th chapter? Kindly remember all those questions. Tan Vadaswanu Purvena. Whatever questions I have asked you previously in the 7th chapter and whatever I am asking now here in the first verse, kindly remembering all those things, Chindina Sarva Samshayan. Kindly remove all my doubts in my heart. By speaking elaborately on the answers of all these questions, kindly remove all doubts in my heart. You can do this because Bahuvittama, you are endowed with complete knowledge. You are best among the knowledgeable people. So you can actually give the meaning to explain the answers to all my queries. So this basically Vidura is trying to inspire Maitreya Rishi by telling that you have the capacity to answer all my queries because you are the one of the most knowledgeable personalities in this world. So please continue to answer my queries. Then Suta Goswami is telling what is transpiring between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. Evam santojitastena Kshetra Kaushara Virmuni Prita Pratyahatan Prashnan Hridistan Hata Bhargava. My dear Bhargava, my dear descendant of Bhrugu, here Suta Goswami referring to the head of Naimisharanya sages, Shaunaka Rishi. Shaunaka is the descendant of Bhrugu Muni, that's why he is calling him as Bhargava. My dear Bhargava, so please listen that Evam Sanchodisa Stedana Kshetra Kausharaver Muni. That remembering all the questions asked by Vidura, the great personality Maitreya, Preeta, being very much pleased, Pratyaha, he replied, Pratyuttar Diya. Pratyaha means Pratyuttar Dena. Tan Pratan Prashnan, he replied answers to all the questions asked by Vidura. Hridistan Ata Bhargava, keeping them in his heart. Matlab, Maitreya is not answering just like that, but keeping all the questions asked by Vidura, keeping them in the heart, thinking about them, he answered them properly. May not be in sequence, but what should be answered first, what should be answered next. Like that, thinking thus, Maitreya answered all the queries of Vidura. So those answers are presented in the third canto, in the remaining chapters, and the 4th canto. So like that, all these things are mentioned one after the other. So in the future chapters of these cantos, 3 and 4, whatever Maitreya spoke to Vidura is being narrated. For 2 long cantos, the entire conversation goes on. Now Maitreya is replying to Vidura. Maitreya uvacha virunchopi tata chakre divyam varshachatam tapa atmani atmanamaveshya yata Bhagavan Aja. So here he is telling that Maitreya Uvacha Virincho Api Tata Chakre Divyam Varsha Shatam Tapa. As the Supreme Lord Chakre, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, had instructed Brahma to perform tapasya, following in the order of Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma performed tapasya for Divya Varsha Shatam. Varsha Shatam is 100 years. Divyam refers to the 100 years of Devatas. For 100 celestial years, Lord Brahma performed tapasya because Lord Vishnu instructed him to perform tapasya. So because of that reason, he performed tapasya following the orders of Lord Vishnu, following the orders of Lord Narayana very seriously. In the previous chapter, verse number 41, Lord Narayana instructed Brahma to perform tapasya. Purtena tapasa yajnair, danair yoga samadhina, raddam nishresam pumsham mat pretis tattvavan matam. Okay, this is how to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, not this. Actually, it is verse number 43. In 43, he mentioned Sarva Maya Vayedanam Atma Anatma Yonana Praja Sruja Yata Purvam Yaschapi Maya Anusirate. Okay, there is also about so this was the verse. Yach Chakar Tanga Masrotam Mat Karta Budai Nintikam Yadva Tapasi Te Nishta Sayesha Mad Anugraha. So Yadva Tapasi Te Nishta, being situated firmly in tapasya, then by that performance of tapasya, by my blessings, Mad Anugraha, you will be able to do your seva as you have done in the previous life. So this is here, Lord Brahma is being instructed by Lord Vishnu to perform tapasya. Even whatever darshan you have had and whatever glorification you have made unto me, that is all the result of tapasya. And if you continue to do the same tapasya, you will also be revealed what you are supposed to do. Everything will be revealed. So please continue to perform tapasya. That tapasya will fulfill by me. So may you continue to perform tapasya. With that, all your desires will be fulfilled. Here tapasya means is not just hardcore tapasya, but with mind dedicated on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with mind meditating upon the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that way, it is being described. So as Lord Vishnu indicated to Brahma, and Brahma began performing tapasya. He performed tapasya for Divyam Varshashatam, for 100 celestial years. How did he perform tapasya? Atmani Atmanam Aveshya. Here Atmani refers to within his own mind. Atmanam refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aveshya. Having invoked the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his own mind, that means contemplating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead about his name, form, qualities and attributes, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. Yataha Bhagavan Aja. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead spoke to Lord Brahma. He followed the instruction of Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana, as it is, and performed tapasya for 100 celestial years. Then as a result of very long tapasya which went on for 100 celestial years, what was the result? That is being mentioned in the next verse. Tad vilokyabja sambhuto vayuna yad adhishtita padmam ambaschatanka tatkala kritavirena kampitam. Tad vilokya abja sambhuto. Here abja sambhuta means that Brahma, who appeared from the lotus, which appeared from Lord Narayana, which appeared from Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Abja Sambhuto. That Brahma, After the performance of tapasya for 100 celestial years, completely contemplating or focusing upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he saw, tad vilokya, then he saw, Vayuna yad adhishtita, that he is situated on the lotus flower. He himself is being seated on top of the lotus flower. Padmam, that Eda Zishtita Padmam is situated on the top of the lotus. Ambascha, and which is situated on the lake, which comes out of the lake. That lake is which is situated within the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Of course, now previously it was the lake was seen in the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Since now Garbhodakshaya Vishnu disappeared, that Ambas is refers to the entire Garbhodaka ocean. Now Brahma is seeing himself being situated on the top of the lotus, and he is seeing that lotus is coming out of the water. Ambas cha tat kala krita viryena kampitam, and that water is completely turbulent. This water is not peaceful. The water of Garbhodaka ocean is very much turbulent from the time of the previous devastation. Yesterday night, at the beginning of the night of Brahma, yesterday evening, there was huge pralaya. Because of that pralaya, the 14 planetary systems were inundated by the water, and the 14 planetary systems are submerged within the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is situated within the water of Garbhodaka ocean. So that water which agitated turbulently at the previous day end. So since then the water is continuing to turbulate. It is still in the turbulent condition only. So Lord Brahma is seeing that water which is very turbulent. And from the turbulent fear invoking water, the lotus is coming up. On top of the lotus, Brahma himself is situated. Padmam ambascha tat kala krita viryena kampitam. That water from which the lotus flower appeared is actually kampita, is vibrating or turbulent, is the water is vibrating, because of which the lotus is also vibrating and disturbed. So Lord Brahma saw that. Then tapasahi edamanena vidyaya chatma samstaya vivruddha vijnana balo nyapad vayum sahambasa. It says that Lord Brahma is empowered by the performance of tapasya for a long time, that is equal to Divyam Varsha Shatam. Since he performed austerities or tapasya for 100 celestial years, by that tapasya, he is actually empowered. And then Vidya Chatma Samstaya, and he did not only perform just tapasya, but he also performed devotional service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead by meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead for 100 celestial years. Atmani Atmanam Aveshya. So this refers to Vidya. For 100 celestial years, Lord Brahma meditated on Nama Rupa Guna Lila of Lord Narayana. So Atma Samstaya, here Atma refers to the mind which is focused upon the pastimes and form and qualities and activities of Supreme Personality of God for 100 celestial years. And then Vivruddha Vijnana Balo, he is endowed with the strength of Vijnana Bala. Vijnana means the transcendental knowledge. What is what? Now, after the performance of this 100 celestial tapasya, everything is revealed within his heart. Now, what he is supposed to do, where he is supposed to start, how he has to continue step by step, and to what point he should come, by which his task of creating 14 planetary systems and the variety of living entities will be completed. That knowledge is completely revealed. So now he is endowed with the strength of knowledge of this entire creation procedure of the material universe, and is endowed with bhakti that he performed for 100 celestial years, and is also endowed with the tapasya, that is basically said that long penance and mature knowledge by the performance of undeviated bhakti. He performed long penance and he performed undeviated bhakti and he obtained mature knowledge, maturity knowledge, vivruddha vijnana, and that is acting like this, that is core strength. So with these three things, Nyapad, Vayum, Saha Ambasa, along with water, he also destroyed the wind. There was actually huge wind which is causing the water of the Garbhodaka ocean is getting into turbulent, and the entire lotus also getting vibrated, getting disturbed. So in order to first of all make it stable, Lord Brahma destroyed that turbulent wind and the turbulent water. So Prabhupada writes that Lord Brahma drank that entire wind and the raging wind and also the turbulent water. He swallowed it up, the both of them, so that the entire atmosphere became peaceful. Otherwise, till now, the entire atmosphere is fear invoking. Huge gush of winds and the water itself is turbulent and everything is very fear invoking. But Lord Brahma being endowed with long penance and bhakti and undeviated bhakti and mature knowledge, he could do this. So then, tad vilokya vyapi pushkaram yad adishtitam anena lokan praglingan kalpita smiti chintayat. After swallowing it up, the turbulent wind and turbulent water, now things have become stable. Tad vilokya vyad vyapi. Then now you could see that the lotus which is starting, which is stemming out of the Garbhodaka ocean, it spread all the way up to the top of the universe where he himself is situated. The lotus actually spreading throughout the universe. It is there all over the universe. Pushkaram yed adishtitam. Pushkaram refers to lotus here, and he himself is situated on top of that lotus, almost touching the upper layer of the universe, upper portion of the universe. Anena lokan prag lingan kalpita smiti achintayat. Now, within the core of the heart, everything that is going to be the out, the final product, the final state of the universe situation after his creation, what it is going to be, everything is revealed in his heart. How to do and where to start, how to continue, etc. Everything is revealed in his heart. Thinking about that, what to do and how to do and where he should come about, where what should be the final product, Lokan, Lord Brahma began his creation. Lokan prag lingan, prag linan, kalpita smiti achintayat. So he began to think about starting off his action. The process of creating 14 planetary systems and creating various living entities. Then Padmakosham tadavishya Bhagavat karma chodita ekam vyabhangshit uruda trida bhavyam dvisaptada. Padmakosham tadavishya, being situated himself on top of the lotus flower, that Lord Brahma who was situated on top of the lotus flower, having entered into the whorl of the lotus flower. Here Padma Kosham means the central portion of the lotus flower, that is the whorl of the lotus flower. Having entered into the stem of the lotus flower through the whorl of the lotus flower, Bhagavat Karma Chodita, for what purpose? Being inspired to do the work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is to create the 14 planetary systems and then create the unlimited variety of living entities. In order to do that, being empowered by the Supreme Personality of God, being endowed with the proper knowledge how to do it, Lord Brahma entered into the stem of the lotus through the whorl of the lotus. Then, Ekam Vyabhangshit Uruda Trida. So, that one gigantic flower which was situated, which was stemming out of the Garbhodaka ocean, spreading all the way up to the top of the universe, it is Uru. It is very, very, very big. Uruda. It is not an ordinary lotus. It is a very huge lotus, very big lotus. And that lotus, Lord Brahma divides into three portions. Trida. First he divided that lotus into 3, and then Dvi Saptada. He was not satisfied with 3 divisions. Then he divided into 14 divisions. First, he divided that lotus into 3 parts, but he was not satisfied. Then into 14 parts. And Acharyas explained that even he was not satisfied with 14 parts, he made many more divisions. So this was the activity that has been given to Lord Brahma, because Lord Brahma was chosen by Lord Vishnu because of his special qualities. That is explained in the next verse. What are the special qualities of Lord Brahma? And that Brahma, being inspired by Garbhodaksha Vishnu, did this particular task of creating 14 planetary systems. Let us just see, quickly browse through a few slides about the division. How did Brahma do? So this was the original thing. Like Garbhodaksha Vishnu was situated within the Garbhodaka ocean, and from his navel appeared the lotus. And the same Garbhodaksha Vishnu expanded himself as Kshirodaksha Vishnu and entered into this lotus. As soon as Kshirodaksha Vishnu entered into this lotus, there appeared Brahma on top of the lotus flower. So that Brahma appeared. And that Brahma next performed tapasya for 100 human years. Then he had the beautiful darshan of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Then he offered prayers. Then he prayed for the empowerment. Lord Vishnu empowered, and Lord Vishnu disappeared after empowering Lord Brahma. So now after that disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Brahma again performed tapasya for 1000 celestial years. Divyam Varshashatam. Then after that he saw that the entire upper portion is filled with huge raging wind, and the water of Garbhodaka ocean is actually it's like the water is very much turbulent, and seeing them, understanding what to do, Lord Brahma swallowed up the wind, the raging wind, and the turbulent water. Then entire atmosphere became peaceful. Then he saw that the lotus spread, starting stemming out of the water, spread all the way up to the top of the universe, on top of which he was situated. And then he understood what to do and how to do. Then what he did, he, entering through the whorl of this lotus flower, entering into the stem of the lotus, he divided this lotus into 3 portions, known as Burloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swargaloka, specifically endowed with 3 different modes. Swargaloka is filled with mode of goodness, Sattva-guna. Bhuvarloka filled with mode of passion, Rajoguna. And Bhuloka filled with mode of, the Bhuvarloka filled with mode of ignorance, Tamoguna. And Bhuloka endowed with mode of passion, Rajoguna. So Swargaloka is in the mode of Sattva-guna, Bhuloka in the Rajoguna, Bhuvarloka. Some portion of Bhuvarloka is actually in Tamoguna, and other portion is Sattva-guna. But anyway, here at least that understanding is in Tamoguna, that is being mentioned in the previous 6th chapter. So first he divided the entire universe, the entire lotus into 3 parts. The leaf, 1 part, the intermediate stem is 1 part, and lotus flower into another part. Like 3 parts he divided. But Lord Brahma was not happy. Why he is dividing? Because the modern argument is that from one things, multiple things cannot be possible. From one object, multiple creations cannot be possible. In order to negate this idea, that is, it is impossible to create 3 worlds out of one entity, Lord Brahma not only stopped with 3, he further continued with 14 divisions. So here are the 14 divisions, known as Satyaloka from the top, then Tapaloka, then Janaloka, then Maharloka. Then as you come down, there is Swargaloka, Bhuvarloka, and Burloka. Burloka is called as Mahitala. And within the lotus of Bhumandala, there are 7 lower planets. They are inside the lotus. And there we have Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Like this, the 14 divisions have been created or differentiated or separated from this lotus by Lord Brahma. So this is how he created the 14 divisions. But still he was not happy with that. He further continued with more and more divisions. For example, these details are mentioned actually in the 5th canto. Within Swargaloka, there are more divisions. Within Swargaloka, there are planets like Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Saptarushi Mandal, Indraloka, and the abode of Daksha Prajapati, the abodes of Data, Vidata. Like that, many subdivisions are there within Swargaloka. And within Bhuvarloka also there are many subdivisions. The moon is there in Bhuvarloka, which is the abode of Pitrus and Sadhyas. There is a residence for Gandharvas and Apsaras. There is another residence for Vidyadhara, Charanas, Gandharvas. There is another residence for Bhuta Pretas, Pichashas. There is another residence for Rakshas and Rakshasas. Like that, there are many more separate divisions within Bhuvarloka. And when it comes to Bhurloka also, there are many more subdivisions. Within Bhurloka, within Bhumandala, there are 7 islands. In each and every island, there are multiple divisions known as Varshas. And within that, there are so many subdivisions. So like that, there are many divisions, subdivisions. There are so much variety has been created. Because Lord Brahma thought that if there are only 3 divisions, he has to create only 3 variety of living entities. That may not be pleasing to the Lord and may not be pleasing to the living entities. So then he created 14 divisions. Still he thought may not be satisfying to the Jivas who wanted to experience multiple variety. Then Lord Brahma created multiple variety. But they are principally categorized in 14 divisions as they are shown here. Satyaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Maharloka, Swargaloka, Bhuvarloka and Bhurloka. Generally we call in the opposite direction. Bhurloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And the 7 lower planets known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. So which are basically the abodes or the residential places for Asuras and all the variety of Nagas. The snakes and the demons, they reside in the lower 7 planetary systems. So this is the division by Lord Brahma in 14 categories. So this is the same procedure that can be seen in all the universes. So this is Karnadaksha Vishnu from whose skin pores appeared all the universes. I mean, basically they appeared in the form of Pradhana. By glancing upon Pradhana, the 24 elements are manifested. By Lord entering into all the 24 elements as cohesive energy, Bibru Shakti, they came together, then there appeared unlimited Brahmandas. And the same Karnadaksha Vishnu expanding himself as Garbhodaksha Vishnu entered into each and every universe, from whom appeared the universal form, and from his navel appeared the lotus flower, on top of which appeared Brahma. And that Brahma is creating the universe into 14 divisions. So in our universe, we have 14 divisions. In other universes, there may be 14 divisions, or a little bit more or a little bit less, we don't know. But at least within our universe, there are 14 divisions. So that is being shown here. This is our universe, which has 7 layers made up of 24 elements. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu is here. From his navel appeared lotus, and top of that, Lord Brahma is there. That entire lotus stem and leaf and the flower, they are all divided into 14 planetary systems. They are listed here. So this is how the Brahma empowered to do the creation. So here's a small video for 1 minute. So kindly just see this.
Sky, the dark blanket above our heads adorned with shining stars extending as far as the eye can see. One of the most appealing and mystifying of all sights. The beauty and the majesty of the universe have inspired awe and reverence in the best brains throughout history.
There is a perfect brain behind all the natural physical laws. This most beautiful system of the sun, planets and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of a powerful and intelligent being. Please describe the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done?
Here we behold a form of the superintelligent being Vishnu, reclining in mystic slumber amid the causal ocean. When he exhales, millions of universes issue from his body and expand, until he inhales when all the universes return within him. The universe is a sphere encased by successive coverings of the elements earth, water, fire, air, ether, intelligence, and ego. As a coconut has its hard outer shell and inner liquid, so the universe has its outer coverings and an inner space half filled with ocean water. On that ocean, another Vishnu expansion reclined on a serpent bed while being massaged by his consort Lakshmi. From his navel arose a lotus on which Brahma was born. Initially, the universe was pitch dark and Brahma engaged in meditation. Then he was empowered to create the universe. This account of creation may appear fantastic to some, but modern scientific theories also require fantastic leaps of faith to explain the origin of the universe. This is evident from the words of eminent physicist Stephen Hawking.
Either we have failed to see 99% of the universe, or we are wrong about how the universe began.
So that was a small video about the manifestation of Brahma and his further activities. So that was about the division of the 14 planetary systems, etc. So what was mentioned in the second verse or the first verse, that Praja Sasarja Katida Dehikir Manasa Vibhu. Can you kindly explain about the creation of all the living entities by Brahma through his body and mind? That particular thing is called as the secondary creation of all the living entities by Lord Brahma. Secondary creation of all the living entities by Lord Brahma, as it is written here. So this is called as Visarga. So which is explained as the Vedic alternate to modern theory of evolution. These slides are actually my cosmology slides. So from that way it is mentioned like that. So the question asked by Vidura to Maitreya was, let me know how Brahma, the grandfather of the planetary inhabitants, created the bodies of the living entities from his own mind and body after Lord's disappearance. So this is called as Visarga, Naimitika or secondary creation by Lord Brahma. The creation made by Brahma specifically by his mind and body to populate the 14 planetary systems that he had created from the lotus stem. So just now Lord Brahma created the 14 planetary systems. Now his next task is to populate them with variety of living entities. At least 14 variety of living entities who can stay in each and every planetary system. So that was the task given to Lord Brahma. This is Lord Brahma's daily creation at the beginning of his day. So this creation, whatever we are going to discuss today in the next upcoming verses, it is Brahma's daily creation. Every day Brahma has to do this creation in the morning. Every day early in the morning he does this creation after performing tapasya for sufficient amount of time. Then in the evening, whatever has been created by Lord Brahma that we are discussing of the 14 planetary systems and all the variety of living entities, they are all destroyed by Lord Shiva in the evening at the end of the day. But throughout the day, Kshirodaksha Vishnu maintains all that has been created by Lord Brahma, all that will be destroyed by Lord Shiva. So this is how the three principal deities take care of the day of Brahma. Brahma creates early in the morning, Lord Vishnu maintains throughout the day, and in the evening, at the beginning of the night, Lord Shiva destroys everything that has been created by Lord Brahma. And in the night, everyone takes rest. Brahma, Shiva and Lord Kshirodaksha, they all enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu along with all the living entities, along with the 14 planetary systems. They all take rest for the entire night of Brahma, which will also last for 1000 Chatur Yugas or 1000 Divya Yugas. So then, next morning, again, Lord Brahma will appear, perform tapasya, have darshan of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, offer prayers, and then again, by being told by Lord Vishnu, again he perform tapasya. Then with that empowerment, he manifests 14 planetary system, then creates all the variety of living entities. And then Lord Vishnu maintains for the entire day whatever Brahma had created. And at the end of the day, Lord Shiva destroys. Then they all enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Like this, day after day, day after day, day after day, for the entire life of Lord Brahma, which is lasts for 100 years, the things will go on, things will go on. And at the end of Lord Brahma's 100 years of lifetime, all the universes which were shown like bubbles in the previous slide here. Our universe is like one bubble, other universe is one bubble, one bubble. All these universes, they disintegrate into 24 elements. They themselves, here everything is combined by the combination of 24 elements in 7 layers. They all disintegrate. They all enter into their original source. That was Maya, that was Pradhana, that was Prakriti. And that Prakriti, along with all the jivas, they enter back into the body of Karnadaksha Vishnu. That was inhaling of Karnadaksha Vishnu. Then they stay inside the body of Karnadaksha Vishnu. Then whenever Karnadaksha Vishnu exhales, then Maya or Pradhana or Prakriti comes out. Then Lord glances upon that, and then all the things that will continue to happen that we have discussed in the previous classes, in the previous chapters. So this is the procedure that happens in this material creation. It is a ongoing, continuous process. So currently we are discussing about our one universe, whatever is happening within that universe. After Brahma appeared, after he divided it into 14 divisions, then what happens? How does Brahma creates all the variety of living entity that is being described? And this process of creating all the living entities is called Visarga. It is defined by Sukadeva Goswami in the 10th chapter. In the 10th chapter of the okay, this is described in the 10th chapter, 12th chapter, and the 20th chapter of the 3rd canto. Brahmano guna vaishamya visarga purusha smrta. Visarga is the creation of the bodies for the jivas by the resultant combination of the 24 elements. Lord Brahma uses the same 24 elements with which the lotus is made, from which the 14 planet systems are made. With the same 24 elements, he creates bodies for all the variety of living entities. He creates body for the sages. He creates body for the from the devatas. He creates body for the asuras, yakshas, rakshasas, gandharvas, kinnaras, kimpurushas. He creates bodies for the humans. He creates bodies for the animals, birds, reptiles, and plants, aquatics. For everything, using the same 24 elements, he creates variety of bodies. That is called as creation of both moving and non-moving entities. It means giving jivas forms with intelligence, senses, and body. So Lord Brahma gives us the body with made up of intelligence, senses, and body, etc., etc. The body made up of Panchabhutas. For what purpose? So that we can engage in our material enjoyment, the propensity to fulfill the material desires, because for which we came to this material world, in order to accomplish our purpose of fulfilling our material desires. Once that is done, the next activity that what we should do is pursuing liberation by the practice of jnana or yoga, or practicing bhakti according to the qualification of the practitioner, and then go back to Godhead. Either by the practice of jnana or yoga, one can go back to Brahman, or by the practice of bhakti, one can go back to the spiritual abodes of the Supreme Lord, Vaikunta, Ayodhya, Dwaraka, Madura, and Golok Vrindavan, like that. So this should be the next activity for the living entities in this material world. For these two purposes, the Lord has created this universe. The Lord had empowered Brahmaji to do the further creation. Otherwise, there is no point in empowering Brahma to do any other activity just to increase the material existence of the living entity. Though the universe is created for this purpose, being ignorant of these two purposes, we are simply engaged in the living entities in the material world are simply engaged in sinful activities, which bind them for many lifetimes in this material world. Otherwise, if we perform all the activities according to Nishkama Karma Yoga procedure, we actually get enjoyment. Our heart becomes purified of all the material desires. Then we become qualified to practice Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, and then go back to Godhead. So that is how the system has been manifested. So Lord Brahma was given this important responsibility of creating the bodies for all the living entities, so that they can fulfill their material desires, and then taking shelter of Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, they can go back to Godhead. So why Brahma was given this responsibility? That is mentioned in the verse number 9, wherein it says that Etavan Jiva Lokasya Samstha Bedam Samahirta Dharmasya hi Animittasya Vipakan Parameshtasau. Parameshti, Lord Brahma. Here Parameshti is Lord Brahma, who is situated in the Satyaloka. Etavan Jiva Lokasya. In order to, okay, fill these 14 planetary systems which is just created from the lotus. In order to fill these 14 planetary systems with all the variety of living entities, Jiva Lokasya, make them filled with all the different variety of tenants in those places. Samstha Betam Samahrita. Samstha Bedan Samahrita. That task of filling all these 14 planetary systems is given to Lord Brahma. For what purpose? Dharmasehi Animittasya. Because Lord Brahma performed tapasya and also bhakti for 100 celestial years. Divyam Varshashatam. For what reason he performed tapasya and bhakti for 100 celestial years? Animittasya. There was no material ambition to be accomplished. There was no material goal to be obtained. Only to become a nimitta, an instrument in the service of the Supreme Lord. In order to Bhagavat Karya Chikitsaya, in order to accomplish the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since he wanted to become an instrument, a selfless instrument in the service of the Supreme Lord, in fulfilling the desire of the Supreme Lord, he performed tapasya and bhakti for a long time, pretty long time, for 100 celestial years. Is not an ordinary small thing. One celestial is equal to 360 human years. So 360 into 100, 36,000 human years he performed tapasya just to do the activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is being indicated. Vipaka, he became endowed with Vijnana. That is being mentioned in the one of the previous verses. Vivruddha Vijnana Balo. Here Vipaka means he became entirely thoroughly knowledgeable person because of his bhakti and tapasya, following the dharma, Bhagavad Dharma. He became thoroughly knowledgeable person. Thus, he is the only qualified person to do this act of creating all the variety of living entities. Because of this, the Supreme Lord empowered or endowed this task to Lord Brahma, so that Lord Brahma can render it selflessly for the benefit of all the living entities, all of us who have come to this material world with an intention to fulfill our material desires. So Lord Brahma assisting the Supreme Lord in creating this material world, not only for fulfilling our material desires, but also for our journey back to spiritual world. So now at this point of time, Vidura actually interrupts Maitreya. So Vidura says, Vidura uvacha yatata bahurupasya hare adbhuta karmana kalakyam lakshanam brahman yata varnayana prabho. Varnayana prabho. My dear Lord, can you please explain to me about among the various forms of Supreme Personality of Godhead, whenever he appears, he performs various pastimes. But one form of the Supreme Lord, that is Kalakyam, that is known as Kala. So Hare Adbhuta Karmana Yatata Bahurupasya. In order to perform wonderful pastimes, Lord appears in many forms. Out of all those many forms, one of them is Kala Rupa. So can you please tell me Kalakyam Lakshanam Brahman? My dear Brahmana, can you tell me the qualities and attributes of the form of the Supreme Lord known as Kala? So he wanted to know about Kala. Because Maitreya Rishi talked about Kala, the effect of Kala, influence of Kala in many verses in the previous chapters. From the beginning, starting from the chapter 5 all the way up till now. Now and then he keeps talking about Kala. By the influence of Kala this happened, because of Kala this happened. In due course of time all these things manifest, all these things will appear, like that. Many times he kind of introduced the function of time. But now you want to know about the attributes of time little more elaborately. So that is what the query of Vidura. So for which Maitreya actually briefly answers about the qualities and attributes of Kala here in this chapter in couple of verses. But he elaborates on Kala in the next chapter, that is 11th chapter. 11th chapter fully dedicated about the understanding of Kala. So what is Kala? How do we understand Kala? How do we measure Kala, etc., etc. Everything is described in the 11th chapter. But here he briefly introduces what is Kala. What is the relationship between the Supreme Lord and Kala in 2-3 verses? Maitreya Uvacha Gunavyatikarakaro Nirvishesho Nirvishesho Pratishtita Purushastad Upadanam Atmanam Leelaya Shrita. So it is said that Guna Vetikarakaro. So what is Kala? What is the form of Kala? What is the nature of Kala? The nature of Kala is Guna Vyatikara Akara. Akara means form. The form of the time is, we cannot actually see the form of time because time is so subtle. But how can we see the time? Through its effects. What are the effects of time? The transformation of the gunas. When Mahavishnu glanced upon Pradhana, which is nothing but 3 modes in equilibrium state, by the interaction of Kala, the stable 3 modes becomes unstable. They are agitated. Because of that agitation, there appears Mahatattva, Ahankara, intelligence, mind, senses, and Panchamahabhutas, and all other things appear, and eventually by their combination there appeared the Brahmandas, then Lotus, then Brahma. So many things happened. That is called as Guna Vyatikara Akara. The form of the time is continuous transformation. The nature of the time is to cause continuous change. It does not allow something to stay as it is for a long time. The effect of time is to cause transformation in everything that is there in a stable condition. Guna Vyatikara Akaro. The gunas which were in stable condition were agitated. They were transformed by Kala. Just like by adding little curd to a liter of milk, by next morning the entire milk will be transformed into curd. So like that. If the milk is like the 3 gunas, by adding little curd, by adding little time, the 3 gunas will be transformed into curd. They are transformed into a different form. They are entirely different from the original thing, the milk. So in that way. And Nirvishesha, there are no particular attributes to talk about. There is no Vishesha. A Visheshke Vihite. We cannot describe what is Kala. How it has no particular qualities or no particular attributes to talk about it. And Apratishtita, though it caused the beginning of the creation, it caused the annihilation, it causes the beginning and end of everything in this world, but itself has no beginning and no end. Apratishtita, if we want to talk about something, we can say that this particular monument has been constructed by so and so king at so and so time, so and so year, and it stayed very strict, very firmly for 1,000 years, and after 1,000 years, and because of some people, some miscreants, the entire structure has been dismantled or destroyed, etc., etc. We can talk about some wonderful thing in this world, but for Kala there is nothing to talk about it. Though it causes the beginning and end of everything that is in this world, it itself has no beginning and end. So we can't say the time has begun now and it will stay only this much time and it will end then. So there are no qualities, attributes, and there is no time period, time frame for time. So this is the form of the time. It is Guna Vyatikara, it is Nirvishesha, it is Apratishtita. Purushastad Upadana Atmanam Leelaya Srujat. Purushastad Upadana. It acts as the Upadana Karana of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So time acts as the efficient cause. Upadana means Upadi. Upadi means a particular duty from which we gain some remuneration. It is like particular situation, particular position from which we gain something. Same way, Upada means to receive something. So what is accepted as the cause? Time acts as the cause for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the entire universe. Time is the instigator of the 3 modes. Time is the cause of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation that we talk about always, that which happens in the material world. So Purushastad Upadana. So time is that factor which the Supreme Lord uses for creating, maintaining, and annihilating the entire universe. So Atmanam Leelaya Shrujat. So for what purpose? The Supreme Lord will have time as an instigator in order to perform the pastime of creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material universe. So Lord uses time as an efficient cause, as a upadana karana, as a pastime in order to perform the process known as creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this entire world. Here Atmanam refers to the material universe. Leelaya Atmanam Srujat. As a Leela, as a pastime, using time as the efficient cause, the Supreme Lord actually creates this entire universe, which is one of his manifestation, which is his external manifestation. So that is how it is being described here. So these are the attributes of time. Though it has no attributes, this is how we can understand what is the time. Time is the cause of transformation in three modes. Time has no specific attributes to describe. Time has no particular situation to talk about. Time has no beginning and no end. Though it causes the beginning and end of everything. Apratishta. It is not firmly situated in one place to describe about it. And the Supreme Lord accepts time as an efficient cause in order to perform his pastime of creating, maintaining, and annihilating the material universes, which is nothing but one of his material manifestation. And here Prabhupada quotes this verse. Mayadakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteda jagat viparvartate. Basically using time as a efficient cause, as his manager, the Supreme Personality of Godhead looks after the activities of this entire material world. The Supreme Lord directly does not involve in the activities of the material world, but his involvement is through time. Kala is Lord's potency, with which he allows everything that is taking place in the material world. So in that way. Vishwam vai brahma tanmatram samsthitam Vishnu mayaya Ishwarena parichinnanam kalena avyaktamurtina. So a little bit more details about time. Vishwam vai brahma tanmatram samsthitam Vishnu mayaya. So this material world which has been manifested by Maya, samsthitam Vishnu mayaya. By Vishnu's Maya, this material world is being created. It is firmly situated. It will continue to perform various activities till the time of annihilation. After annihilation, it will enter back into the form of Karnodaksha Vishnu. And what this material universe is all about? It is Brahma Tanmatram. It is an object of enjoyment for Brahma. Here Brahma means not Lord Brahma. Here Brahma means the absolute truth, who is called as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Specifically here Mahavishnu. For us, we have 5 Tanmatras. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, and Gandha, and Rasa. Like through 5 Jnanendriyas, we experience 5 Tanmatras. And for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the entire universe is a Tanmatra. That's why it is called as Brahma Tanmatram. It is an object for performing is Leela through the medium of time. Vishwam vai Brahma Tanmatram Samsitam Vishnu Maya. The universe which has been manifested and which is firmly established by Lord Vishnu's Maya becomes a Tanmatra for the Supreme Lord through the medium of time. And within that universe, how the Lord uses that universe as Tanmatra, the object of enjoyment or the object to perform various pastime, various activities, Ishwarena Parichinnanam Kalena Avyakta Murtina. Within that universe, by creating so much variety in terms of 14 planetary systems and in terms of variety of living entities known as the sages, the rishis, and the devatas, Brahma, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Kinnaras, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Asuras, and human beings, animals, birds, and aquatics, and plants, etc. All this variety, Parichinnanam, different variety, Kalena Avyakta Murtina. How does Lord performs all these pastimes of creating division and maintaining them and annihilating them? Kalena, by Kala, by the potency of Kala. What is Kala? Avyakta Murtina, which has the form of so invisible. Avyakta Murtina means it is not perceivable. that imperceptible form that is called Kala. So through the invisible time, Lord Vishnu causes division within the universe and performs all the activities of the living entity, allows all the living entities to perform their desired activities. So the time is the medium with which the Supreme Lord accepts the entire material world as Tanmatra, as an object of enjoyment, as an object of performing various activities. So this is how the time has been defined. Time is called here as Avyakta Murtina. Time is called in the previous verse Dupadanam, and time is called as Guna Vetikarakaro Nirvishesho Apratishthita. Like that, these are the various, some of the important qualities of time have been mentioned in these verses. But ultimately the time is invisible. It is Avyakta Murtina. So without particular attributes, the time performs all the various activities of creating variety in the universe in terms of 14 planetary systems, in terms of variety of living entities. These are all done by Supreme Lord through the medium of Kala. So why Lord is doing all these things with Kala? The reason is Yatedanim tatagre cha Pashadapi etadiddusham Yatedanim tatagre cha. Just the way it was there in the previous day, just the way it was there in the previous creations, the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of time, he is creating now using Brahma as a nimitta, as an instrument. Tata agrecha, just the way it was there in the previous day of Brahma, just the way it was created in the previous day of Brahma, just the way it was allowed to perform so many activities in the previous day of Brahma, the Supreme Lord using time as a medium, Lord Brahma as an instrument, he is doing it now. And he will continue to do the same thing tomorrow also. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Pachadapi etadidrisham. The same thing he will do in the future also. So basically it says that the universe which he wanted to create now, it is as he created in yesterday and as he will create tomorrow. That means the activity of creation is not one time thing. It is not a baseless. It is a regular continuous procedure. And it has the Supreme Lord as a base. And it has the instigator as time, the time as the instigator. It has Brahma as the instrument, Brahma as the via medium, through whom the entire thing is happening. So in order to explain the eternality of the creation, maintenance and destruction, which are actually happening time and again, in these three verses, Maitreya Muni introducing the concept of time. Time is the energy, one of the principal forms of the Supreme Lord, through which Lord accomplishes all these activities, though he does not involve directly, but through time, he is involved in each and every activity of the entire universe, which he does again and again. As it was yesterday, it is there now, it will be there tomorrow also. So this is how the Supreme Lord continues. Now the question comes, what is yesterday, what he will do tomorrow, and what he is doing now? What exactly Lord is doing now using time and Lord Brahma as his efficient cause and instrument, efficient instrument. So that is narrated in the future verses. So here it is said that Sargo Navavidastasya Prakruto Vaikrutastu ya Kaladravya Gunair Asya Trivida Pratisankrama. So using Lord Brahma as an instrument, using time as the efficient cause, what the Supreme Lord is trying to accomplish. So using the same time as an instrument, whatever Lord accomplished in the past and whatever is going to accomplish in the future, everything, in the sense, in the past means in the current day only, but in the previous previous chapters, whatever has been described, everything is kind of summarized from this verse onwards in the next few verses. It says that Sargo Navavidastasya, there are 9 types of creation. The total creation that are run by Lord Vishnu alone, Karnadaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu alone, and also Brahma combined together, there are 9 types. Sargo Navavidastasya, and these 9 are further categorized into 2 groups, Prakruto, Vaikrutas. There are 6 are Prakruta. 6 are called as elemental creation or Prakrutika creation. They are done by Mahavishnu. They are created by Prakriti. That's why they are called as Prakrita Srishti. And 3 will be done by Brahma. They are called as Vaikruta. Using the 24 elements which were created by Brahma, it transforms them. Vaikruta means to cause vikara. Just like milk becomes vikara, milk becomes paneer or milk becomes dahi by adding some sour element to it. So using the same 24 elements, causing them transform, Lord Brahma creates variety of bodies for all the variety of living entities. That is called Vaikruta. So the Prakruta is Prakrita Srishti, Vaikruta is Vaikruta Srishti. The Prakruta is called as Sarga, Vaikruta is called as Visarga. This is primary creation, this is secondary creation. Thus, there are 6 kinds of primary creation, 3 kinds of secondary creation. And then they say that Tuya, there is another creation that is called 10th creation after 9. 6 plus 3, 9. The 10th creation is the combination of both Prakruta and Vaikruta. That is the creation of all the Devatas. The creation of all the Devatas, the 3 kinds of living entities by Brahma alone is Vaikruta. But the creation of Devatas is both creation of Lord Vishnu and Brahma combined together. That is both Prakruta and Vaikruta. Thus, there are 10 kinds of creation in total. There are 9 types of exclusive creation, 6 from Lord Vishnu, that is known as Prakruta, 3 from Lord Brahma, known as Vaikruta. But one creation is the 10th one. That is a combination of both Prakruta and Vaikruta. So thus there are 10 types of creation in summary. And then there are 3 types of annihilation. Trivida Pratisankrama. But how these 3 types of annihilation takes place? Kala Dravya Gune Rasya. One annihilation takes care by Kala, one takes care by Dravya, the third one takes care by Guna. So what is Kala? Whatever has been created by Lord Vishnu in terms of 24 elements, in terms of all the variety of Brahmandas, in terms of the lotus flower, up to that, everything will be destroyed in due course of time after the completion of 100 years of Lord Brahma. That is by Kala. There will be no other reason for this annihilation, only Kala. As soon as Lord Brahma's 100 years are completed, whatever that has been created from Prakriti by Lord Vishnu, Lord Mahavishnu, will be completely annihilated and enters back into the body of Karnadakshaya Vishnu. That is called Prakrutika Palaya. That will be done by time alone. As soon as Brahma's 100 years are completed, it will happen. No one can stop it. The second one is called Dravya. Whatever that has been created by Brahma, that which is known as Vaikruta or Visarga, Vaikruta Srishti, that will be destroyed by Lord Shiva. That is called Dravya. That will be basically destroyed by Lord Shiva and also Shesha. So it is called as Dravya, means it will be destroyed by different kinds of elements. From Lord Shesha, there appears 11 Rudras. And from the 11 Rudras, there appears huge fire. Because the 11 Rudras open their third eye. From those third eye, there appears huge fire. And that fire is one of the 5 grass elements. From that fire, all the living entities that are there in the Bhuloka, Borloka and Svargaloka will be burnt to death. They are all died because whatever water sources that are there, they all evaporate and people lack of food. Out of starvation, they all will die. And there will be huge rains. Because of huge rain, the entire Bhumandala, the entire surface of the earth will lose its existence. Because of so much rain, there are so much flooding, the earth will lose its existence by melting into the water. And then there will be huge sunlight, because of which the entire water will be evaporated. Like that, eventually, by the influence of this Dravya, basically the water and fire, there will be destruction of all that has been created by Lord Brahma at the beginning of his day. The destruction will take place at the end of the day. So this will be taken care by Dravya, the elements known as fire and water. So this will happen at the end of every day of Brahma. Whatever Brahma creates at the beginning of the day will be destroyed by Lord Shiva. Basically 11 Rudras who appear from Shesha. So they will do this destruction by using water and fire. And then The third kind of annihilation is done by guna. This is called nitya pralaya. The first one is called prakritika pralaya, which happens after the lifetime of Brahma. Second one is called naimitika pralaya. The Vaikruta is also called a naimika srishti, because that is naimitika means using Lord Brahma as nimitta, as an instrument. Lord Vishnu allows him to create every day in the morning. That's why it is called naimitika srishti. So that will be destroyed by Lord Shiva. That is called naimitika pralaya. And during the day, during which the responsibility is given to Lord Vishnu to maintain, but during the day the living entities are taking birth and dying because of their karma. Karma is generally performed according to the influence of three modes of material nature. The people who are in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, the mode of ignorance, they perform various activities. As a result of their activities in three modes, they die and they get next birth, like that. In the mode of goodness, they may go to heavenly planets. In the mode of passion, they may take birth in the Bhuloka only. In the mode of ignorance, they may go to lower planets or hellish planets and lower species, and they come up eventually. So all these things will happen by our karma, which is supervised by, which is done under the control of the three modes of material nature. And this is called nitya pralaya. The daily destruction which we see in front of our eyes, people are dying and taking birth, and especially current season because of corona, so many people are dying, and simultaneously so many people are born also. So these are taking place every day. That's why that is called nitya pralaya, and every daily birth is called nitya srishti and nitya pralaya. Whatever created by Lord Brahma at the beginning of the day is called naimitika srishti. Whatever Lord Shiva destroys at the end of the day is called naimitika pralaya. And whatever is created by Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu at the beginning of the creation, before the birth of Brahma, that is called Prakritika Srishti. And whatever destruction happens at the end of Brahma's 100 lifetimes, that is called Prakritika Palaya. Like that, there are three kinds of creation, three kinds of annihilation. And within Prakrita Srishti, there are 6 sub-creations. And within Naimitika Srishti, there are 4 sub-creations. There are 3 types of creations by Lord Brahma alone. The 4th one, though it is the combination of both Lord Brahma's and Lord Vishnu's creation, but it is given to Lord Brahma only. Thus, Brahma creates 4, Lord Vishnu creates 6. They are called Prakrita and Vaikruta. Prakrita Srishti and Naimitika Srishti. So, these are the different divisions of creation and different divisions of annihilation. So, basically 3 kinds of creation, 3 kinds of annihilation. The creation, the Prakriti Srishti and Prakriti Pralaya is because of time. The Naimitika Srishti and Naimitika Pralaya is because of Dravya, the material elements. By the combination of the 24 elements, our bodies are created. And with the help of fire and water, Lord Shiva causes the destruction of all the bodies that are being created by Lord Brahma. And by our karma, which is performed under the influence of 3 modes, we continuously take birth and die, take birth and die. That is called Nitya Srishti and Nitya Pralaya. In that way. So that's how it is being described. Now starting from verse number 15, 16, 17 in 3 verses, the 6 kinds of creation by Lord Vishnu are being described. And then verse number 18 onwards, till the end of the chapter, the 4 kinds of creation by Lord Brahma are being described. So we need to spend good amount of time in order to discuss all these things. So we will discuss Lord Brahma's creation. That is main topic of our discussion of this chapter in the upcoming in the next week. But for today, we'll briefly touch upon what we discussed in the previous classes, in the previous chapters, which is briefly summarized in the 3 verses. With these 3 verses, we'll stop for today. We have just few more minutes. Adyastu mahata sargo guna vaishamyam atmana dvitiyam tu aham yatra dravyajnana kriyodaya. At the first creation, by glancing upon Prakriti, that is gunas, the 3 modes, adyastu mahata sargo, by causing the agitation of the 3 modes of material nature, Lord Vishnu causes the birth of Mahatattva. So Lord Vishnu causes the birth of Mahatattva by glancing upon Prakriti at the very beginning of the creation, by causing the disturbance in the 3 modes of material nature, Guna Vaishamyam, by causing the three modes become disturbed from the stability, he causes the birth of Mahatattva. That is the first creation. Then Dvitiyastu Ahamo Yatra. And by further agitation, there was the appearance of Ahankara as a secondary creation. As a second creation, the second part of the creation. From Ahankara, there will appear, Dravya means Panchamahabhutas, Jnana, there appear the three energies, Dravya Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. All these three energies, endowed with these three energies, Ahankara appears as the second creation. As the first creation from three modes, there appeared Mahatattva. Then as second creation, there appeared Ahankara consisting of Dravya Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. Then Bhuta Targastu Tritiyastu Tanmatro Dravya Shaktiman Chaturta Indriya Sargo Yastu Jnana Kriyatmakam. Then he says that how Dravya Shakti manifested? The Dravya Shakti manifested in the form of Tanmatras. The 5 Tanmatras appeared, who have the capacity to create 5 gross elements. First there appeared ether. First there appeared sound. From sound, ether appeared. Sound is Tanmatra, ether is Panchamahabhutas, one of the Panchamahabhutas. And then there appeared touch. From touch there appeared air, the via medium for the touch to go from one place to other place, that is the air. Then there appeared form. For the form to be seen, there appeared light, the fire, Agni. And then there appeared taste. For the taste to move from one place to other place, there appeared the via medium water. Then finally there appeared smell. For the fragrance to move from one place to other place, the earth appeared. Like that, first 5 Tanmatras appeared, and they have the capacity to create the 5 Panchamahabhuta, their via mediums to go from one place to other place. That appeared as the third creation, Tritiyastu. Then at the fourth creation, Chaturtha, Indriya Sargo, there is the creation of senses. The 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas are manifested at the fourth creation. The 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, they appeared in the fourth creation. Then finally, at the fifth and sixth creations, Vaikariko Devasargas Panchamoyan Mayammana. At the fifth creation, there appeared from the mode of goodness of Ahankara. Vaikarika means from the Sattva-guni Ahankara. There appeared a different variety of Devatas. The sense Devata, the Devatas who will be looking after the activities of all the senses, and also mind, Mana. The mind, along with the Devatas, they appeared from the Jnana Shakti of the Ahankara. That Ahankara which is in the mode of goodness. And these are the 5 creations that are appeared from Pradhana. They appeared from Prakriti. And there is 6th creation, that is a little different from the above 5 creations. Shashtastu Tamasa Sargo Yastu Abuddhi Krita Prabho. So the 6th creation is, it is a creation of ignorance, a creation of illusion, the creation of forgetfulness. This is manifested from Abuddhi Kruta, the Avidya Shakti of Maya Devi. So this is also creation by Lord Vishnu only, but Lord Vishnu's Maya potency has 3 energies. So from those 3 energies, all these appeared one after the others. So that is being indicated in just one slide. I will quickly show, and then we'll stop with that. Hey, Papre, what happened? So at the Prakrita creation, which is from Lord's Maya Shakti, that is called Prakriti. There is a creation of Mahatattva, the first one. Then there is a creation of Alsigo. Then there is a creation of grass elements and sense objects, Tanmatras and Panchamahabhutas. Then there is a creation of knowledge and action senses, Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. Then there is a creation of sense Devatas and mind. Then finally in the 6th creation, there is a creation of ignorance produced by Lord Avidya Shakti, which bewilders the Jiva, which causes illusion in the living entities. This Avidya Shakti, there are actually bewilders all of us to think who we are actually not. So I think we will start from the next slide in the next week only. So thus, These are the 6 kinds of creation which are performed by Lord Vishnu. With the help of these 6 creations, Lord Vishnu creates the 24 elements, and by their combination, Lord Vishnu creates unlimited variety of Brahmandas. From their combination only, Lord Vishnu creates the lotus stem and lotus leaf and lotus flower upon which Lord Brahma appears. And even Lord Brahma also, by the combination of these 24 elements which are mentioned here, he creates all the variety of living entities in 4 divisions that we will discuss in the next class. So I think we'll stop here for today with this verse, which is verse number 17, and from verse number 18 onwards we'll continue the next class. But I will elaborate upon the concept of this Abubuddhi Kruta, the creation by Avidya Shakti of Maya Devi. This is one of the important concepts which Bhagavatam talks about in the 10th and 12th chapters that we will discuss in the next class. So we'll stop here. So if some devotees want to add on to it and want to make some comment and want to ask some questions, so we'll have a couple of minutes. Hare Krishna. If something is confusing, something is too technical, please let me know. We'll try to clarify it. Hare Krishna, all of you are there?
Hi, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we are very much there, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, from
Yes, ma'am.
Kala, it is bit confusing. From Kala, that shloka from there is bit confusing, especially the last 2-3 shlokas. If you can repeat next time, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yes, I will repeat that. No problem. This is the same thing which we discussed in the 5th chapter, the creation.
Yeah,
How the 24 elements have been created. One by one, they are grouped into 5 divisions. The first is the creation of Mahatattva. Second is the creation of Ahankara. Third is the creation of the 5 Panchamahabhutas and their specific qualities. The fourth is the creation of Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. The fifth is the creation of mind and Devatas. The sixth is the creation of the ignorance. This ignorance we will discuss further.
I didn't get that. Brahma created 4 and Vishnu created 6.
So that we will discuss what Brahma created 4, that will come in the rest of the chapter will be there. We'll be talking about the 4. So what has been spoken till now, what is going to be discussed in the future verses is kind of summarized in one shloka. So in order to give the whole picture, what is called what is primary creation, what is secondary creation, so that summary is present in that one shloka.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhu.
especially verse number 14, na Prabhuji? It's a request that next time you can explain it again.
Okay, no problem. So basically this verse says that Sargas Navavidas Tasya, there are 9 kinds of creation. Those 9 are divided into 2 groups. First 6 are called Sarga or Prakrutika, Prakruta Srishti. Prakruta means the Srishti that has manifested from Prakruti. That's why it is called Prakruta Srishti. So what are the 6 that just now we mentioned? The creation of 24 elements is called Prakruta Srishti. The second one is called Vaikruta. Vaikruta means using the 24 elements, creating bodies, the 3 kinds of bodies. One is for human beings, second one is for the variety of animals, the third one is for the plants. These 3 are directly done by Brahma. But there is a 4th one, which is the creation of the body for Devatas. This is both a combination of Brahma and Vishnu. That's why it is called Prakruta kam Vaikruta. That is the 10th creation. That is being discussed. That will be discussed in the rest of the chapter.
Prabhuji, that Prakruta and Vaikruta, you said, huh? Vaikruta.
Yes.
Yes, so
Prakruta
that is 6 plus 3, that is 9. So
9.
the 10th is the one which is the creation of all the Devtas, right?
All the Devatas. That is a combination of both Prakruta and Vaikruta, because here both are involved. Both Vishnu is involved and Brahma is involved.
Okay.
That's why it is called combination.
Okay, Prabhuji. Combination.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
And the same verse also talks about 3 kinds of annihilation. One that happens at the end of Brahma's 100 years, that is called Prakrutika Pralaya. because they are like one and one opposite. There is one is called Prakriti Srishti, there is the opposite is called Prakriti Pralaya. The Vaikrita, or it is also called as Naimitika Srishti by Brahma. Whatever Brahma does is called Naimitika Srishti, and the destruction will be done by Lord Shiva. That is called Naimitika Pralaya at the end of every Brahma's day. And the third one is the daily creation, daily annihilation. That like living entities are taking birth as human beings, animals. That what we see. People are taking birth and dying. That is called Nitya Srishti and Nitya Pralaya. That is the third category. So that is being hinted here.
Prabhuji, in this, can you just elaborate on that Vaikrita? I didn't get that.
Vaikrita means whatever 24 elements Lord Vishnu created, that is Mahavishnu had created, using the same 24 elements, Lord Brahma creates different bodies for different variety of living entities. So all the living entities are grouped into 4 divisions. The one is the plants.
No, that I got, Prabhuji. Just now you were talking about the 3 kinds of annihilations. No, that I'm asking.
Whatever Brahma creates at the beginning, the 4 types of creation, creating the 4 types of living entities, that will be annihilated by Lord Shiva at the end of the day. That is called Naimitika Pralaya.
Yeah, Naimitika. And one is Naimitika Pralaya, and the one above that?
Above that is Prakritika Pralaya.
Prakrita Pralaya. Okay.
They like their counterparts. Prakritika Srishti is done by Lord Vishnu before the birth of Brahma. Prakritika Pralaya will also be done by Lord Vishnu only after the death of Brahma, after Brahma's 100 years. And Vaikrita or Naimitika Srishti is the daily creation by Brahma. At the early morning, Brahma creates, and in the evening, late evening, Lord Shiva destroys. That is called Naimitika Pralaya. Naimitika Srishti in the morning, Naimitika Pralaya in the evening. And during the time of the maintenance of the universe, there is continuous birth of different variety of living entities.
So that is called Nitya Srishti, no?
Nitya Srishti.
Nitya Pralaya.
And the death is called Nitya Pralaya, as we are seeing now because of Corona and all other things. And normal death, not only Corona, but any other death.
So
this is like the total, the creation and annihilation is summarized into 3 groups. Prakritika Srishti, Naimitika Srishti and Nitya Srishti. And Nitya Pralaya, Naimitika Pralaya and Prakritika Pralaya in the opposite order. Like that it happens.
Okay.
So any other devotee, any other query?
Prabhuji, why only 14 planetary systems?
No, there are multiple divisions within the 14 also, but at least Brahma restricted it to 14. Why 14? I don't have any answer. That is Lord's inspiration.
Okay.
But he thought that at least let there be 14. Like that he stopped.
But any specific reason for this 14? Like, does it signifies anything? 14, number 14?
I don't know, but not required also. Why you want to have reason? It's okay. It's Lord's will, Lord's desire. Can't he have that much freedom also?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I'm sorry, these topics may be a little technical, but if you pay a little attention, so everything becomes crystal clear. Otherwise, we have studied many things in our school days about the theory of evolution and Big Bang theory, all these things. They are all thoroughly occupied the space within our hearts. Now, slowly we have to replace that information with the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. They are technical, may not be understood by the first hearing, but we need to put some endeavor to understand them. We need to clarify our doubts, and we need to hear again and again so that everything becomes very palatable.
Prabhuji, it is very interesting. And speaker like you, we are really fortunate to have.
I don't know, but I'm trying to present it the way I understood. So we may need repetition to understand it more clearly.
It is gradually getting clear, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.